Hi, it is me, Sonali Ray. And I know it's early. Well, not early, but I'm actually doing another video this soon. I had a little time. Okay? Cheers. This is real strong water. Don't worry about that. Listen, a couple of you have had. Oh, let me start over. Hi. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Sonali Ray. I am a sailor with Military Sea Lift Command. And as I've stated in my last video, I've been with the company for over 11 years. And I am here to answer questions and help you on your journey. So, since I have a little bit of time and there are a couple questions someone's asked, I am here to answer them. So, someone asked me, I'm sorry, I don't remember your name. The Strong Water did it. But I was asked about birthing pay. So, the breakdown for birthing pay. Okay. They change it sometimes a lot, but the general consensus of birthing pay is if you're assigned to a certain type of ship and you share a room, meaning it's only like a few ships that do it though. We have a couple of subtenders, and then there's one ship that's in the med. I'm not gonna say the names. Well, I guess I could. A ship called the Arctic, the Supply, Land, and the Frank Cable are all considered birthing ships. And you have to share a room with about I've only been on two of the ones I just mentioned. So I've been on the Land and the Frank Cable, and it hosts about 20 women. And it's like 20 women, three sinks, three showers. I'm sorry, three toilets, three showers, and like five or six sinks depending on the ship. It's not a lot of space for a lot of, and that's a lot of women. And usually they have those things tight, like every bed is occupied. So birthing pay is an amount of $30 a day, which means whether you go to overtime or not, when you wake up on the ship, you are $30 a day. Now, when it comes to birthing pay, you really have to deal with what type of captain you have, and not every captain is a just captain or a fair captain. I remember at one point there was an issue with birthing pay. We used to have a ship called the Ponce. That doesn't exist anymore. I was on that one too. And when we were assigned to the Ponce, if you were assigned to the ship, because there's only berthing for certain pay rates, um, you get the money automatically, even if you decide to spend a night off the ship. Because some ships are in port a lot, and who want to sleep with about 20 bitches? Nobody. Or 20 dudes. Nobody want to do that. So every now and again, you'll take a day or two off or whatever, and you sleep off the ship. And the Ponce's position was, well, if you're assigned to the ship, this is your duty section, this is what it is, you're going to get your $30 a day. Okay? That was that ship. Well, fast forward to going to, like, I think the Land and or the Frank Cable. They had a situation where if you were on the ship, you had to be back on the ship by a certain time to get the pay rate. I mean, get the $30 a day benefit. But also, that is only for unlicensed. So if you are considered a CPO, and that is like your DMAC ratings and things like that, your yeoman storekeeper ratings, your electrician, like chief electrician ratings. Like if those are your jobs, then you don't get you usually on those types of ships get your own room, in which case you don't qualify for the birthing benefit. Also, if you're an officer, you don't get it. But if you're like, unlicensed and under, $30 a day is just an incentive, I guess, to be on the ship. But again, on some ships, at one point, they were having challenges like you had to be on the ship by a certain time, otherwise, you would forfeit the birthing pay. Now, I think it's self corrected over time, but I haven't been on any of those ships since like 2021. And also, I think I wasn't on the Land that long. In 2021, I've done more than one rotation on those ships. So, I didn't live locally, like in Guam area or wherever the ship was located. So I didn't have a reason to not sleep on the ship. And did I spend some nights out? You damn right I did, because I got tired of being around all those women. Did it affect my pay? I don't think so, because I think us, that, like I said earlier, if you weren't there between this time or that time, I think it had already like suspended and they got rid of it, because I guess they um, had enough pushback from the union and people complaining. So but that's generally how it speaks. Now, there is a high speed vessel, and those are what I currently sail. And high speed, um, if you're in a room with three people and you're not licensed, meaning you're not, an officer, it has to be at least three people. The rules are you got to have at least three people in the room in order to get the birthing pay, right? So if you're in a room that hosts four people and there's only two of you guys, you're not getting the birthing pay. The loophole is if they put you in a birthing that is not MSC birthing, then you can get birthing pay. You're supposed to get birthing pay, but some captains don't pay that. So you really have to like fight it. You gotta find it in the CMPI hour or find it in writing where that's what you're entitled to. And you gotta really fight it. You gotta contact your union, you gotta contact HR, you gotta really make a big stink of it for some captains to pay you. Other captains will just pay you because if you're in what's called embark berthing, which is usually reserved for Navy personnel, and if that's your dwelling, then and those are not MSC standard for MSC employees, which means you're, from what I understand, I've been told by several suppos and captains, then they have to pay you for being in a place that's not your normal dwelling. Because generally speaking, when they don't put you in MSC berthing, you don't get the brand new mattresses, so your back might hurt. You're gonna deal with some stuff that you don't have to deal with. If you're on a high speed vessel, if anybody's ever been on a high speed vessel, I have some photos, and since I now have the more, remember I told you guys, more followers I get, the more I could share. So I'm up to 300. I remember when I had one, so I'm grateful for each and every one of you that's here. But the more people we get here, I can show you more stuff. Like I have a lot of, well, not just a whole lot, but I have a few videos a few photos that can show you the burning. So let me comb through that and I'll get back to you guys on that. But I only have a couple things with birthing and a couple videos of the bathroom, or maybe a video of the bathroom. I gotta see. But anyway, until we can get that footage, the birthings for the riders in on a high-speed vessel are tight. So it's not as comfortable as, well, nothing's as comfortable if you don't have your own room as an officer. It's not gonna be that comfortable. Honestly, on high-speed vessels, nothing is comfortable. All that shit's small. But if you're on a berthing, it's the difference between having a rack where you can sit up, right? Like sit upright, or a rack where you can't. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of inconveniences and little nuances that will probably bother you. But if you are in a dwelling that that's not MSC regulated, like you're supposed to be for the riders, supposed to be for active duty, you're entitled to the $30 a day too for every day that you're there. You're not supposed to be there. But again, you might run into some static with being able to get the money. And if you are a new hire, let's just face it, you got to be really kind of cryptic and covert on how you do stuff, because you can get fired for anything or nothing at all. So if you pursue that $30 a day, just make sure you cover all your bases, have documentation proving that. So in the event that you get fired and you actually care, you can kind of contest it. And then MSC, it's harder if you get fired from government service, specifically MSC. If you get fired from government service and it has been deemed that you were fired unjustly and that you were in the right, this is just a little sidebar. It's way more of a pain in the ass to reinstate you on the agency side. Like it's a huge pain in the ass than it is to just treat you right the first time. So, but in order to get to that point, you have to have everything crossed and dotted. If you're new here, I have a lot of videos, and in a lot of my videos, I say cover your ass, and I mean it, because it's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And the way that the Navy operates, according to the agency attorney that I've had to speak to before for a certain situation, they know that they have to pay for stuff. They know that they have suicide, rapes, robbery, all sorts of stuff. They know this shit happens, and they know that you may be subjected to that. They know that. They know it's wrong. They know it's illegal. They know all that. And that agency attorney said to me, the Navy's only going to pay if they're made to pay it, which means even if they know they ain't shit and they know they full of shit, until the courts make them pay it, they ain't gonna give you none for it. So, and if you can't prove it, meaning is your word against theirs, you get nothing. So be very mindful of that. So anything that you embark on, always cover your ass. So to include if you're trying to get the money, and if you're a new hire, it's not gonna fare well. It may not fare well. It may be something you just want to kind of like let go. But it's up to you. It's up to you. I only say that because I have fought so many battles, and I sit back and was like, did I have to divulge that? Did I have to fight that battle? Could I just shut up? And the truth is, no. For me, no. Because I've been in too long and I've seen too much and I'm tired. So for me, no. But for someone brand new, just getting their feet wet, just getting, into this whole thing, maybe yeah. Now there was another question from someone. I do remember your last name, and I just remember the question. I think your last name was Wagner, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe Justin. Sorry if it's not your actual name, but and forgive me, I'm not good with names. You said something about, do you have to go through a steward program to become a shopkeeper? The terms you use are a little bit off, so I'm assuming that you're already in the industry. And I think the first person that gave me a question was Aaliyah, if I'm not mistaken. Forgive me if I didn't get it right. But back to you, sir, good sir. It sounds like you're in the industry because you're using certain terms, but they're not technical terms for MSC. So I want to clean that up for you first. Steward department is generally, if you're from SIU, I think you guys you have a steward and you have SAs. Well, MSC, you still have a steward. It's the chief steward, but you also have SUs. Okay, that's your entry level process. Now, in order to become you said a shopkeeper, I'm assuming you mean storekeeper, and those that goes to, it starts at yeoman storekeeper, and it goes to no, I'm sorry, it started assistant storekeeper, and then it goes at yeoman storekeeper. But it depends on what type of experience you have prior to MSC. If you have military experience in admin or in logistics, then you may be able to come in as a yeoman storekeeper, which gives you chief status, which means if you're on a ship, you get your own room. And if you're on a ship that has berthing, you'll get your own room. But if you're on a ship, which is a regular ship, you probably just gonna get your own room anyway. And it's a bigger room, and it's like a private bathroom. That's the perk. But it goes. It depends on what you have before coming in. Now, if you just come in fresh off the street, never have any experience in anybody's military or in logistics at all, then yeah, you're gonna have to start at SU. But you go from SU to assistant storekeeper, but you have to go to school for that first. And then once you go to SU to assistant storekeeper, provided that you get picked up for that, because it's a process, you got to be qualified, or you got to be best qualified or at least qualified. And even if you're qualified, sometimes you have to wait for a permanent letter in order to be permanently cemented in the position. Now, you can sell in the position and you can get paid in the position, but that doesn't mean you're going to be in that position. You know what I mean? So you have to start at somewhere. There's a starting point. But if you're coming in fresh off with no experience, then yes, you're going to have to start with SU, but you don't have to go to steward. Okay? Because going from SU to chief steward, I've seen it happen, and it shouldn't have, but that doesn't mean that it's consistent that way, because not. And that doesn't mean that's where you want to go, because going steward doesn't mean that you can cross over to the logistics side of supply. That is logistics. Supply is in a whole is a unit. Okay. So that has your storekeepers, your yeomen, your JSOs, which stands for junior supply officer, and your supply officer, which is acronym, we call them suppos. That's in supply. But also you have your stewards, your SUs, your and all of your cooks, to include your third cook, your second cook, your cook baker, and your chief cook. So all of that is encompassed in supply. All of that is supply. So if you want to go the storekeeper route, and again, if you're brand new to MSC, then you're going to want to go see if you can get into one of the schools. They have assistant yeoman storekeeping schools that you can attend, but I'm not going to pretend like they're easy to get into, because a lot of people want to go logistics side, because supply is generally the most dramatic department fleet-wide. It's, for whatever reason, it's always the one that has the most fights, the most drama. It's really wild. I don't know why. Logistics is like literally inventory. And I don't know what about inventory entices so much passions, but people fight a lot in these departments. And I don't know why. Believe it or not, you're going to get the most skill out of MSC from the engine room. Anything from the engine department is the most skill, which means you can take this skill and go do this in society and make decent money. If you take the captain or the chief mate, or like any of the mates routes, I don't really know what that translates to in like civilian world, because even as an AB, you're a painter. you know, like I don't know how that changes, correlates, but at least in supply, though it's dramatic, logistics, you can still work logistics short side. That's like HR, that's admin, that's things like that. Or if you decide to do cooking, you have the culinary aspect and you have the know-how, so you can go work at a restaurant or create a restaurant or whatever it is you want to do. Um, and of course, communications is a department too, but y'all ain't asked me all that. Y'all only asked me about going to storekeeper and you asked me about birthing. So I think we've covered that for this video. And keep the questions coming. I have a little bit of time before my next obligation. So I am excited to interface with you. And can we just take a minute to give a shout out to one of my, well, to a few people that I absolutely adore. We're going to start with you, Sid, for getting on my ass about recording. I know you know my life for real, and I know you know that, you know, I've had some experiences, but I thank you for giving me a perspective tonight that I've not had with regard to recording. So she's basically put a fire into my eyes and making sure that I interact with you guys more. Love you to pieces. Thank you. Susu, aka Susanna, I love you so much. You are such a kind soul, and thank you for being so supportive in this endeavor and so many more of my others. And Treese, I don't know if you're gonna see this one, but I've noticed that you've been in my comments lately, and you know I know you and love you for real, and I am so grateful to have you, and I'm so proud of everything that you've done and accomplished, and I'm also grateful that I get to be here to see it all. So thank you for coming here. Thank you guys. I know these women for real. And they are amazing in my life for real. And I thank you all for real, because you can have friends out here and they can know you got something going on and never once hit like, follow, share, subscribe. And not saying this isn't my only thing that I got going on, but to have people to actually invest their time and have you guys invest your time in me means something. I wish I knew each and every one of you, and I can't wait till I get enough subscribers so I can actually go live and answer all these questions, because y'all be acting like y'all don't want to book a session. Also, in order to book a session with me, you just go to sonali.ray@gmail.com. We link up, we find a date, we secure a time, and it is, again, I do monetize my sessions. So for an hour, it is $60. So that's how much I charge a rate. But I'm gonna tell you a secret. Usually it goes over and I don't charge you more. So I answer all the questions that you have, and if there's something that I don't know, I can get back to you, because you did pay for my time and you pay for, you know, the information, and I want to give you the most up-to-date, accurate information possible. So me and my strong apple juice or water are gonna call it a night, and or a day if you're seeing this in a day. Have a wonderful day. If you're seeing this at night, have a great night, and I will see you all next video. And thank you for being here. Bye.